Good morning to all of you. Today's lecture is on basal ganglia. Up till now, we have started with some structures of brain. In the last lecture, we have seen reticular formation, how the ascending and descending reticular formation is helpful for different activity. Now, next structure is basal ganglia. Under this heading, we are going to cover the lectures of basal ganglia, that is nuclei. What are the different nuclei present in the basal ganglia? What are the connections present in the basal ganglia? What are the two types of circuit present in the basal ganglia, putamen and caudate? Then functions of basal ganglia and applied part. So this is just revision for you. You know that how our brain is developed embryologically from the different cells like prosencephalon, forebrain, mesencephalon, midbrain, rumbencephalon, hindbrain. So out of that, you can see that the telencephalon form the majority components of cerebrum, that is contained in cerebral cortex, cerebral hemisphere, white matter, and basal nuclei, or also called as basal ganglia. Okay. Then diencephalon form thalamus, hypothalamus, epithalamus, and retina. Mesencephalon form brainstem, that is a midbrain component, and again metencephalon form pons and cerebellum, while myelencephalon form medulla oblongata, part of the brainstem. So you may have MCQ on this. What are the components, or how the telencephalon develop what structure? Diencephalon, mesencephalon, metencephalon, and myelencephalon. So you have to remember that. So let's start the today's lecture, that is basal ganglia. Under this heading, you are going to write the answer. Whenever the question is on long answer question is on basal ganglia, you should write under this heading introduction, some historical aspect, compare it to with animals and human being, then anatomy, physiologic anatomy, connections, neurotransmitter present in the basal ganglia, functions, and applied part. So the functionally central nervous system, you can have classification like sensory, motor, and higher functions. Out of that, motor system or motor function is mainly done by the cerebral cortex, cerebellum, basal ganglia, with the help of pyramidal and extrapyramidal tract and stretched reflex. Out of that, cerebral cortex and spinal cord have direct connection to the spinal cord, but it directly connected with the help of corticospinal tract, while basal ganglia and spinal cord connects indirectly. That we are going to see in the connections, basal ganglia connections. So it has been found that whenever there is a damage to the basal ganglia, which will lead to the various abnormality of movement, and that's why basal ganglia is important components of motor system. About historical aspect, the James Parkinson first found out the term that is called as Parkinson disease and also called as paralysis agitans. Then comparative about in primitive cortex, when there is a development from unicellular to multicellular organism, there is a various changes take place in each and every system. Similarly, about the basal ganglia, in primitive cortex, telencephalon is absent, while in the lower vertebrate like fishes and birds, the basal ganglia is well developed. That's why it is also called as head ganglia, most prominent part of the brain in that lower vertebrates. During the development, again, in human being or in the mammals, the motor functions, the basal ganglia play important role in the motor functions. But in birds, the basal ganglia is well developed, and that's why the navigation, when the birds fly in the sky, the navigation function is mainly done by this basal ganglia, or also called as head ganglia in case of birds. Now, why it is called as basal? As the basal ganglia is nothing but the group of nuclei or subcortical collection of nuclei which is present in the basal portion of the forebrain. Okay, and that's why it is called as basal. Now the ganglia is misnomer actually. You know that what is meant by ganglion? The ganglion is nothing but the collection of neuronal mass present in the peripheral nervous system. While collection of neuronal mass in the nervous system, in the central nervous system, it is called as nuclei. Okay, so actually the ganglia is a misnomer. It is also called as basal nuclei or subcortical collection of the nuclei. It consists of 5 types of nuclei: caudate nuclei, putamen nuclei, globus pallidus nuclei, subthalamic nuclei, and the substantia nigra. The combined this caudate, putamen, and globus pallidus combined together called as corpus striatum. So these are the C-shaped structure that is called as caudate nucleus. This is a lenticular form nucleus that is called as putamen and globus pallidus. You can see in this diagram putamen and globus pallidus. Whenever we take a horizontal frontal section of the brain, this you will see in the anatomy dissection hall. So what are the different structures you can see in the when you cut the brain's frontal section? In that diagram, you can see that the part of the caudate nucleus, that is head of caudate nucleus, it is a C-shaped structure, caudate nucleus having head, body, and tail. This is the head part. Lentiform nucleus, that is called as putamen, outer segment, while this particular part is called as globus pallidus. It have two components: globus pallidus external segment, and more inner part is called as globus pallidus internal segment. Then near the tail of the caudate nucleus, you can have a substantia nigra and the subthalamic nucleus, body of Lewis, also called as body of Lewis. So these are the caudate nucleus, putamen, globus pallidus internal segment, and globus pallidus external segment. Then substantia nigra and the body of Lewis, also called as subthalamic nucleus. So these are the components of nuclei of the basal ganglia. Again, you can see that the internal capsule. So you assume that this is an internal capsule. The internal capsule divides this basal ganglia nuclei: head of caudate nucleus, tail of caudate nucleus, globus pallidus internal and external segment, and the putamen nucleus. Now on MRI, you can see that this structure is called as thalamus. This is the red one. This is a head of caudate nucleus. This is a lentiform nucleus that is called as putamen and globus pallidus. So whenever you see the film of MRI, you can have this structure in that film: thalamus, head of caudate nucleus, caudate, then putamen and the globus pallidus together called as lentiform nucleus. So let us see one by one. The corpus striatum is nothing but the subcortical collection of nuclei of the gray matter, which is situated in each part of the cerebral hemisphere. Internal capsule divide this caudate and lentiform nucleus. Whenever the word comes lentiform nucleus, you should know that it is a putamen and globus pallidus. And whenever the word comes corpus striatum, again it is combined three, that is a caudate and lentiform. That is caudate, putamen, and globus pallidus. So you may have MCQ on this. You just remember that corpus striatum is nothing but the caudate, putamen, globus pallidus. Lentiform means putamen and globus pallidus. Again, in next, the functionally and phylogenetically, this is divided into the neostriatum and paleostriatum depending on origin. Neostriatum is more recent origin, and it involves the caudate and putamen nucleus. Again, you remember this: caudate and putamen, neostriatum, and paleostriatum, it involves only the globus pallidum, older part. Okay, so you may have MCQ on this. So now whenever the word comes only striatum, that is nothing but the neostriatum. And whenever the word comes corpus striatum, that means it involves caudate and lentiform nucleus, three nuclei. Okay, so word striatum only, that is nothing but the neostriatum, that is it involves caudate and putamen nuclei. So in the connections, whenever in the connection slide, put a caudate circuit and putamen circuit, there is a term striatum. Striatum is nothing but the neostriatum, that is a caudate and putamen. So as you know that the caudate is C-shaped structure having a head, body, and tail. Tail of caudate nucleus ends by becoming continuous with the putamen. The lentiform nucleus, as you know, that is a putamen and globus pallidus. It is a biconvex shaped lens. Then putamen is the word come from the Latin word as called as shell. Outer part of lentiform nucleus is dark in color. In about globus pallidus, you know that it is a pale in color and it is divided into external segment. Outer part external segment and inner part is called as internal segment. So whenever the word comes in the connection GPE, that is nothing but the globus pallidus external segment. and GPI, that is nothing but the globus pallidus internal segment. Okay, then subthalamic nucleus, the scientist Lewis found out this nucleus, that's why it is also called as body of Lewis. Again, it is a biconvex shape. Substantia nigra, again, two components depending on pigment, pars compacta and pars reticularis. In pars compacta, there is a 75% of dopaminergic neuron and 25% cholinergic neuron, and it is rich in neuromelanin pigment. While GABAergic, that is a pars reticularis, it is a GABAergic and deficient in neuromelanin, but it is rich in iron. Again, MCQ for this. Now, most important thing, connections of basal ganglia. This is most important part of the basal ganglia. The main characteristic feature of basal ganglia is that striatum. Now, whenever the word comes striatum, it is nothing but the neostriatum. It is involved caudate and putamen. So striatum is the main input for the basal ganglia, while globus pallidus internal segment GPI is main output for the basal ganglia. That means whatever the connections come from other parts of the brain, they enter via the striatum, and what are the output from the basal ganglia, they exit from the globus pallidus internal segment. Now, what are the connections they are present in the basal ganglia? Thalamostriate. That means thalamus to the striatum, neostriatum. Corticostriate. That is nothing but the cortex to the, that is sensory cortex, motor cortex. From that there is a to the striatum, neostriatum. Then in between the nuclei of the basal ganglia, that is called as internuclear connection. What are the internuclear connections are there? Nigrostriatal pathway. That is nothing but the substantia nigra pars compacta. You know that substantia nigra have two components, pars reticularis and pars compacta. So connection between the substantia nigra pars compacta to the striatum, that is nothing but the neostriatum, caudate and putamen. Then striatum to globus pallidus external segment and globus pallidus internal segment. This is again second internuclear connection. And third internuclear connection is globus pallidus external segment, subthalamic nucleus, and the globus pallidus internal segment. I will show in the diagram so that you can understand what are the connections present in the basal ganglia. The first is output. What are the, okay, first we will see what are the input for the striatum. So caudate plus putamen, that is called as neostriatum, nothing but the striatum. So afferent to the striatum is mainly from cortex and thalamus. That is called as corticostriate, okay, which is an excitatory glutaminergic. While thalamostriate, so thalamus to striatum. So these are the main two input for the striatum. What are they? That is nothing but the corticostriate, and second one is thalamostriate. Okay. Now, what are the internuclear connections present in the basal ganglia, in between the nuclei of the basal ganglia? First is nigrostriatal. You can see that this is a substantia nigra pars compacta. Now, remember that this straight line is nothing but the excitatory, while whenever the dotted line is there, that is nothing but the inhibitory. Okay, that means cortex to striatum is excitatory, thalamus to striate is excitatory. Okay. Now, first internuclear connection is substantia nigra pars compacta to the striatum. Now remember that here they have two receptors, D1 and D2 receptor. D1 is excitatory, that is whenever the dopamine is released from the substantia nigra pars compacta. When you act on the D1, D is nothing but the dopamine, D1 and D2. D1 is excitatory, and whenever the dopamine binds to the D2 receptor, that is a inhibitory. Okay, so substantia nigra pars compacta to the striatum. This is the one internuclear connection. Second is striatum to globus pallidus external segment. You can see that striatum to the globus pallidus external segment. Now you can see that then from the globus pallidus external segment, inhibitory signal to the subthalamic nucleus. Now, whenever there is a excitation of striatum via the cortex or thalamus, that is corticostriate or thalamostriate, whenever this is the excitation of this striatum, it will send inhibitory signal to the globus pallidus external segment. That means it will causes inhibition of the globus pallidus external segment, and that because of that there is a no excited inhibitory signal to the subthalamic nucleus. That is called as disinhibition. So again, I will repeat. Whenever there is an excitation of this striatum via maybe corticostriate or thalamostriate, it will send inhibitory signal to the globus pallidus external segment. That means there is inhibition of the globus pallidus external segment, and because of that, there is no inhibitory signal to the subthalamic nucleus. And because of that, the subthalamic nucleus continuously send excitatory signal to the globus pallidus internal segment. This is one second internuclear connection. That is a striatum, globus pallidus external segment, subthalamic nucleus, and the globus pallidus internal segment. Okay. Then third internuclear connection is directly, that is striatum to globus pallidus internal segment. That is inhibitory. Okay. So there is a balance between this excitatory signal and the inhibitory signal. As you know that via the globus pallidus external segment, there is excitation, that is indirectly or there is disinhibition of the subthalamic nucleus. Disinhibition of subthalamic nucleus is nothing but the excitation of subthalamic nucleus, which will excite the globus pallidus internal segment. And because of excitation of globus pallidus internal segment, it will cause the inhibition of the thalamus. And whenever there is an inhibition of this striatum by inhibition of the globus pallidus internal segment by striatum direct connection, there is no inhibition of the thalamus. So this excitation of internal capsule, excitation of internal segment of the globus pallidus by subthalamic nucleus and inhibition by striatum to the globus pallidus internal segment, there is a normally balance between the inhibition and excitation. So whenever there is a damage to this particular tract or inhibition or excitation, this will lead to the abnormal connection between the basal in between the basal ganglia nucleus. Okay. So remember, input is thalamostriate and corticostriate. Internuclear connection are nigrostriatal between the substantia nigra pars compacta to the striatum. Striatonigral, that is nothing but the striatum to pars compacta pars reticularis. That is inhibition. Okay. That means there are two connections between the striatum and substantia nigra. Striatum to the globus pallidus external segment, striatum to the globus pallidus external segment via then again to the globus pallidus internal segment via subthalamic nucleus, and also there is a direct connection between the striatum to the globus pallidus internal segment. So there are 4 internuclear connections present in the basal ganglia nuclei. Again, I will repeat. One is striatonigral. That means striatum to the pars compacta, pars reticularis. Second is substantia nigra to the striatum, that is called as striatonigral pathway, or nigrostriatal pathway. One is D1 is excitatory, D2 is inhibitory. Third is via the globus pallidus external segment, subthalamic, there is disinhibition of the subthalamic nucleus, there is excitation of the subthalamic nucleus. And last one is directly inhibition of the globus pallidus internal segment from the striatum. Okay, so this is the circuitry of the basal ganglia, and here you can see that major output, that means output to the thalamus, is mainly by the globus pallidus internal segment. So you may have MCQ on this, which is the major output from the basal ganglia. That is nothing but the globus pallidus internal segment. So subthalamic nucleus causes excitation, while striatum directly causes inhibition. So there is a balance between the inhibition and excitation at the level of the globus pallidus internal segment. Okay. So this is about the circuitry of the basal ganglia. What are the different circuit? There is 2 circuit, putamen circuit and the caudate circuit present in the basal ganglia. So there are 2 types of putamen circuit. One is called as main putamen circuit, and second is called as ancillary putamen circuit. Also called, that is it is support. Ancillary means support to the main putamen circuit. Okay. So what is the origin from this putamen circuit? It is nothing but the mainly prefrontal area, primary motor area, that is primary motor prefrontal area, there is supplementary motor area, and the somatosensory area. These are the main 3 input for the putamen circuit. Now, what is the main putamen circuit? So input is from this 3 area, and they enter into the putamen, and from the putamen they enter into the globus pallidus internal segment. This yellow are nothing but the globus pallidus external segment and the globus pallidus internal segment. Main putamen circuit is nothing but the from this 3 area, prefrontal, supplementary motor area, and somatosensory area, toward the putamen. From the putamen they enter into the globus pallidus internal segment, and from here they enter into the ventroanterior and ventrolateral nucleus of thalamus. And from here, they again send to the impulse signals to the primary motor area. Okay, so this is about the main putamen circuit. This three area: putamen, globus pallidus internal segment, and then to the ventroanterior and ventrolateral nucleus of thalamus toward then to the primary motor area. This is main putamen circuit. Now, what are the ancillary circuit that is supported circuit for the putamen circuit, main putamen circuit? There are three ancillary circuit. This three area is common, that is the input is common, the three from this three area. Then enter into the putamen circuit, then enter into the putamen nuclei. From the putamen, it enter into the globus pallidus internal segment. Now from here, first ancillary circuit is nothing but it enter into the substantia nigra and then ventroanterior nucleus of thalamus. And then again, the exit point, that is the end point is same as like that of the main putamen circuit. So origin and end point is same for all the main putamen circuit also and ancillary putamen circuit. So first ancillary circuit is nothing but the from the putamen globus pallidus internal segment and via substantia nigra it enter into the ventroanterior and ventrolateral nucleus of thalamus. Second ancillary circuit is again input is from same three area putamen. Now from the putamen there is from the putamen they enter into the globus pallidus external segment. Okay, so via the globus pallidus external segment they enter into the subthalamic nucleus, and from the subthalamic nucleus they enter into the ventroanterior and ventrolateral nucleus of thalamus, and then again into the primary motor area. Okay, so this is the second ancillary circuit. Input putamen globus pallidus external segment. Instead of GPI, they enter into the subthalamic nucleus, and from the subthalamic nucleus they enter into the ventroanterior and ventrolateral nucleus of thalamus. Okay. Third ancillary circuit is nothing but in between the subthalamic nucleus, there's a two-way connection between the subthalamic nucleus. That means from both subthalamic nucleus send a signal to the GPE, that is globus pallidus external segment, and GPE sends the signal to the subthalamic nucleus. So these are the three ancillary putamen circuit. Okay. So this is the main putamen circuit: premotor area, supplementary motor area, primary motor cortex, putamen, globus pallidus internal segment, ventroanterior and ventrolateral nucleus of thalamus, primary motor area, premotor area, and supplementary motor. This is the main putamen circuit and main function. And this is an ancillary putamen circuit. You can see that putamen, globus pallidus external segment, subthalamic nucleus, ventroanterior and ventrolateral nucleus of thalamus, motor cortex. Then putamen, globus pallidus internal segment, substantia nigra, thalamus, and then motor cortex. And there's a two-way connection between the GPE and the subthalamic nucleus. This is about the ancillary putamen ancillary circuit. Okay, so this only there is a difference between the subthalamic nucleus, substantia nigra, and two-way connection, while last point is same, that is a end point is same for all the primary main putamen circuit and the ancillary putamen circuit. And main function of this putamen circuit is subconscious execution of learned pattern of movement. Now what do you mean by subconscious execution of learned pattern of movement? That means whenever you learn that one particular activity, you require more concentration. For example, during driving, so initial stages of driving you require more concentration, but once you learn that activity like writing, driving, that activity is happen at subconscious mind. That is called as subconscious execution of learned pattern of movement. Okay, there is no requirement of any concentration once you learn that activity. So that is done by this putamen circuit. Then second is caudate circuit. The major difference between the caudate circuit and putamen circuit is that the input. In case of putamen circuit, input is mainly from the three areas, that is primary motor area, supplementary motor area, and the somatosensory area. While for here caudate circuit, the input is throughout the motor cortex, throughout the cortex, sensory and motor cortex. That is starting from the frontal lobe up to the occipital lobe. Okay, that is frontal lobe, parietal lobe, occipital lobe. So throughout the cortex there is an input. Then enter into the caudate nucleus, and from the caudate nucleus they enter into the globus pallidus internal segment, and from here it enter into the ventroanterior and ventrolateral nucleus of thalamus, and from here they enter into the prefrontal cortex. Okay, so this is about the caudate circuit. You can see that the input is from all over the area up to the occipital lobe, then caudate, globus pallidus internal segment, ventroanterior and ventrolateral nucleus of thalamus, and then from here prefrontal and supplementary motor area. This is about the caudate circuit. The main function of the choroid circuit is cognition. Now, what is the meaning of cognition? Is nothing but the thinking process of the brain. So I will describe this in the functions of the basal ganglia in the next lecture. What are the functions of the basal ganglia? In that, again, we have functions of the putamen circuit, functions of the choroid circuit. So just remember that putamen circuit function is subconscious execution of learned pattern of movement, while the function of the choroid circuit is cognition, that is thinking process of the brain. Whenever some sensory input is there, and whatever the information stored in your brain, because of that there is some activity take place that is called as cognition. So thinking process of the brain. So this is about the choroid circuit and putamen circuit. In the next lecture, I will describe about what are the different neurotransmitter and what are the different functions of the basal ganglia and applied part. Okay. So read this today's lecture so that you can understand the next lecture, that is the functions and applied part of the basal ganglia. Okay.